Come along, my faithful flock. The castle awaits. Yes, not far now.
A beautiful princess lives with her widowed mother, the queen, who prepares her for marriage to a distant prince. When the time comes for the journey, the queen lovingly gathers a rich dowry of gold, jewels, and fine possessions to send with her daughter. She also assigns a waiting woman to accompany the princess on the long trip to the prince's kingdom. Before the princess departs, the queen performs a mysterious act of protection. She pricks her finger and lets 3 drops of blood fall onto a white cloth, giving it to her daughter.
Ow.
The queen tells her to guard it carefully, for it may help her during the journey ahead. The princess sets off on horseback toward her future home. Her loyal horse Falada is no ordinary horse, he can speak. Alongside her rides the waiting woman, who secretly harbors resentment toward the princess and dreams of taking her place. After riding for some time, the princess becomes very thirsty. She politely asks the waiting woman to fetch water for her from a nearby brook. Instead of obeying, the servant rudely refuses and tells the princess to get the water herself. Weak with thirst, the princess climbs down and kneels at the stream to drink directly from the water. As she does so, the cloth with the drops of blood speaks gently, warning that if her mother knew of this humiliation, her heart would break. The princess remains silent and continues the journey. Later, the princess again grows thirsty under the hot sun. When she asks for water once more, the waiting woman refuses again and forces the princess to fetch it herself. During this moment, the precious cloth with the 3 drops of blood slips from the princess's clothing and falls into the stream, carried away by the current. With the magical protection gone, the waiting woman's boldness grows stronger. She begins to treat the princess even more cruelly and disrespectfully. The princess, frightened and powerless, can do little to stop her. At last they arrive at another river. There, the waiting woman forces the princess to exchange clothes with her. She threatens the princess with death if she ever reveals the truth about who she really is. The cruel servant then takes the princess's royal garments and jewels, dressing herself like a princess. Meanwhile, the true princess must wear the servant's simple clothing. The waiting woman declares that from now on, she will be the princess. Even Falada, the loyal talking horse, recognizes the deception. The false princess fears that Falada might reveal the truth. To prevent this, she plans to have the horse killed once they arrive at the royal castle. When they reach the prince's palace, everyone believes the servant is the real princess. The true princess is mistaken for a mere maid and is sent away to work with a young boy who tends the geese. The boy, named Conrad, is told to take the new maid with him each day to the fields where the geese graze. Once a princess, she now spends her days watching over geese in the countryside. Meanwhile, the false princess secretly orders that Falada be killed. She fears the horse may expose her lies. The faithful horse is slain, but before it happens, the real princess begs that Falada's head be placed on a gate she passes every day. Her request is granted, and Falada's head is hung above a dark city gate. Each morning, when the princess drives the geese through the gate, she sadly greets the horse. To her surprise, Falada's head answers back. Every day the princess says, "Oh Falada, hanging there." And the horse replies sorrowfully that if the queen knew how her daughter suffered, her heart would break. The boy Conrad overhears these strange conversations. Out in the fields, another magical event happens each day. When the wind blows through the princess's long golden hair, it shines brilliantly in the sunlight. Conrad tries to grab a strand, but the princess speaks a rhyme that summons the wind to scatter her hair. The wind whirls fiercely and blows Conrad away, preventing him from touching the shining hair. This happens repeatedly, leaving Conrad frustrated and confused. Eventually, he decides to tell the old king about the strange Goose Girl. Curious about the story, the king secretly observes the princess the next day. He sees her greet the horse's head at the gate and hears Falada's sorrowful reply. Later in the field, he watches as her golden hair shines and the wind answers her call. The king begins to suspect something is wrong, as the behavior of the Goose Girl does not match that of a common servant. He senses there must be a hidden truth behind her strange actions. The king gently asks the Goose Girl why she behaves this way and what sorrow troubles her. At first, she refuses to speak because she fears the servant's threats. She says she has sworn not to reveal her secret. Understanding her fear, The wise king suggests she tell her story to the iron stove in the palace courtyard. Believing she is speaking only to the stove, the princess pours out the entire truth of how she was betrayed. Unbeknownst to her, the king is hiding nearby and hears everything. He now knows that the Goose Girl is the real princess and that the false bride is merely a treacherous servant. The king brings the princess fine clothes and restores her royal appearance. When she dresses once more like a princess, her true dignity and beauty become unmistakable to everyone in the palace. A grand feast is arranged in the castle hall. The false princess sits beside the prince, believing her deception will never be discovered. The true princess quietly sits nearby, hidden among the guests. During the feast, the king asks a strange question. What punishment should be given to someone who betrays their royal mistress and steals her identity? The false princess confidently declares that such a traitor deserves to be severely punished. At that moment, the king reveals that she has judged her own crime. The truth is announced to the entire court, and the false princess's deception is exposed. Justice is carried out, and the wicked servant is punished for her betrayal. The real princess is finally recognized and honored as the true bride. In the end, the prince marries the rightful princess with great celebration. After enduring hardship and injustice, she finally receives the happiness and respect she deserves, and peace returns to the kingdom. Fitcher's bird, a mysterious wizard, roams from house to house disguised as a weak beggar. Carrying a basket on his back, he asks for charity, but his true purpose is far darker. He kidnaps young women. Whenever he takes a girl away, she is never seen again, leaving the villages filled with fear and unanswered questions. One day, the wizard arrives at a house where a man lives with his 3 beautiful daughters, pretending to be a poor beggar in need of food. He waits patiently at their door while carrying his basket as if it were meant for collecting gifts. The eldest daughter kindly comes outside with a piece of bread to help the poor man. Soon as she reaches out to give it to him, the wizard merely touches her. And by his magic, she is forced to jump into the basket on his back. Without wasting a moment, the wizard strides quickly away and carries the girl deep into a dark forest. In the center of the forest stands his grand house, filled with magnificent rooms and treasures of silver and gold. At first, the wizard treats the girl kindly and gives her everything she could wish for. After several days, he tells her he must travel for a short time and hands her a ring of keys to the house. He tells her she may explore every room freely, except for one locked door, which a small key opens. He strictly forbids her from entering that room, warning that doing so will cost her life. Before leaving, he also gives her a small egg and tells her to guard it carefully and carry it with her at all times. He warns that losing or damaging it will bring great misfortune. Once the wizard is gone, the girl walks through the splendid house, amazed by the glittering halls and luxurious chambers. Eventually, her curiosity grows stronger as she approaches the forbidden door. Unable to resist the temptation, she unlocks the door and steps inside. To her horror, she sees a bloody basin filled with the chopped bodies of murdered people, with a block of wood and a shining axe beside it. Terrified, she drops the egg she was carrying, and it falls into the basin of blood. Though she quickly retrieves it and tries desperately to clean it, the bloodstains refuse to disappear. When the wizard returns, he immediately asks for the keys and the egg. The girl trembles as she hands them over, and he quickly notices the bloodstains that reveal her disobedience. Furious that she entered the forbidden room, the wizard drags her by the hair into the chamber. There he kills her with the axe and throws her chopped body into the basin with the others. Soon afterward, the wizard returns to the house of the 3 sisters, again disguised as a beggar. When the second daughter brings him bread, he captures her the same way and carries her off to his forest home. The second sister is treated just like the first. Curiosity leads her to open the forbidden door. And when the wizard discovers her disobedience, she too is brutally killed and thrown into the bloody basin. At last, the wizard returns to the house for the third sister. She is clever and cautious, but like the others, she is taken away to the mysterious house in the forest. Before leaving on another journey, the wizard again gives her the keys and the egg, and repeats his warning never to open the forbidden room. The girl calmly promises to obey him. After he leaves, she carefully places the egg in a safe place instead of carrying it with her. Then she begins exploring the house and eventually opens the forbidden door. Inside the chamber, she discovers the horrifying sight of her 2 sisters lying dead and cut into pieces in the basin. Instead of panicking, she bravely gathers their limbs and carefully places each piece back together. As soon as the bodies are fully restored, a miracle occurs. The sisters come back to life, open their eyes, and joyfully embrace each other, amazed to be alive again. When the wizard returns, he asks for the egg and the keys as before. Since the egg remains perfectly clean, he believes the girl obeyed him and declares that she has passed his test and will become his bride. The clever girl pretends to accept his proposal, but asks him to carry a basket of gold to her parents as a wedding gift. While preparing the basket, she secretly hides her two sisters inside and covers them with gold. The wizard lifts the heavy basket onto his back and begins the long journey. Each time he tries to rest from the weight. One of the hidden sisters calls out that she is watching from the window and commands him to keep moving. Believing it is his bride watching him, the wizard struggles onward, without stopping until he finally delivers the basket to the girl's parents, unknowingly returning the rescued sisters safely home. Meanwhile, the bride prepares a grand wedding feast and invites many guests to the wizard's house. She decorates a skull with flowers and jewelry and places it in the window, so it appears as though she is watching from above. Then she covers herself in honey and feathers, disguising herself as a strange bird so no one can recognize her. As she leaves the house, guests ask where she comes from, and she replies that she comes from the wizard's house nearby. When the wizard finally returns with his guests, he sees the decorated skull in the window and believes it is his bride greeting him. He and his companions enter the house, unaware of the trap awaiting them. Soon afterward, the bride's relatives arrive and lock the doors of the house so no one can escape. They set the building on fire, and the wicked wizard, along with all his companions, perish in the flames, ending his reign of terror forever.